When we meet someone for the first time, a few standard questions usually come up. What's your name? Where do you live? What do you do? I've often thought how much fun it would be when someone asks what you do to make something up. I wonder what their reaction would be if I said, well, I'm a deep sea diver, or maybe a race car driver, or something even more obscure. If you could invent any job on the spot, I wonder what you would say. Of course, these questions are mostly just polite conversation. Yet doesn't it sometimes feel like we're being judged, as if what we do somehow defines who we are? As a Christian, I try to focus on being more like Christ in my actions, my attitude, and how I treat others. And Jesus was a carpenter. Think about that for a moment. Imagine meeting Jesus for the first time, and after asking his name and where he lived, you then said, so what do you do? Would he simply say, I'm a carpenter? Or would he say something more? Maybe a carpenter and a prophet, a carpenter and a teacher, or maybe even something as bold as the Son of God. In fact, Jesus spoke often about who he was, and it was these very claims that stirred such controversy amongst the religious leaders of his time. So perhaps we need to reconsider these common questions. A name is just how someone is identified. It allows us to refer to them later, to recognise them in conversations. I know Paul Ashley, someone might say, and others would understand exactly who they're talking about. Hopefully, there aren't too many Paul Ashleys out there. As for where do you live, isn't that just a way of figuring out if we'll ever cross paths again? It can also reveal a shared connection. Maybe we live in the same village, or maybe they're from a place that we've once visited, and this encourages conversation. But what do you do? That question feels different. As soon as we hear someone's job, we start forming assumptions. Even subconsciously, we estimate how intelligent they are, how much money they might earn, or whether they're like us or completely different. But is that really the best way to understand a person? Over the years, I've had a variety of roles. Mental health nurse, a used car salesman, I was an IT manager, and now a pioneer minister, whatever that means. But none of those titles fully define who I am. When Jesus asked his disciples, who do you say I am? He was getting to the heart of something far more important than a job title. And maybe that's the real question we should be asking. Not just about others, but about Christ himself.